between 1 and 2 p.m., I'm with you right now chatting about unlocking AI in your instruction. In yellow, it says, before we begin, select a standard or topic to develop classroom resources using AI. Muriel says, Japan's wonderful. We still think about it too. I can't get enough. Oh my gosh. I need to go back every summer, but there's so many other countries too. So we'll figure it out. Take a look at what we're doing here. We're learning how to leverage Canva, Gemini Canvas, and NotebookLM to design engaging, interactive instructional resources and AI-generated student supports based on classroom standards. Geez, who wrote that? That's a lot of words. Okay, how are we going to pull this off? All right. We're going to, we'll know that we're successful when I can use Gemini Canvas to make a slide deck and an app, and then navigate NotebookLM to explore our strategic plan. All right, so let's do this here. What are we doing? So this is our agenda. We just went over the learning intentions and success criteria. We'll get into Canva whiteboard. Actually, I was thinking we can like look at Canva and its AI capabilities too. Today is not all just about Gemini. Canva's got some cool stuff. So we are going to make a slide deck though. So again, in red, choose some standard, some topic. If you can't think anything, just use study skills. That would be a good thing to go over the first week, maybe in any class. We'll also use Gemini Canvas to make an interactive app, and then we'll get into NotebookLM. It's really great if you haven't explored it before. How many people out there, this is all new to ever, like I haven't even touched Gemini. Give me that thumbs up. Yeah, use those emojis at the bottom. So thumbs up are telling me some of us have never used it. All right, give me the heart symbol if you have used it. Yeah, okay. Lots of hearts there. Good. All right. Very cool. Brooke's got a hand raised, or Brooke just might be interacting with the class, and that's good too. All right, folks. Hey, I am recording this. Here's something that, check this out. This is really cool. So I'm a big fan of gems. This is a little looser class here. So let me show you a gem. If you can't get to gems, right now I'm in gemini.google.com, but I'm just going to give you the link here in the chat. Check this out. Go there. This is, you might not have a lot of stuff in your gems. I've been making lots and lots of gems. What is a gem? A gem is a prompt that you can use over and over and over again. So if you have something that's repetitive that you're always doing, you don't have to like reinvent the wheel in terms of coming up with a new prompt. You can set the prompt once and then just interact with that prompt anytime you want. And this is one of my, let me show you this. So I'll click on the edit symbol. I think this is a pretty cool gem. So it says the instruction, here's my prompt to AI. Hey AI, when the meet notes and or slide deck and or transcript from a PL session are attached, create a one-pager takeaway based on the content, fill in any blanks and flesh out the material so it's the most substantive it can be. I have some formatting for the title of this. Don't use emojis, not a big fan of emojis. Leave an area to insert the video tutorial, all that good stuff. So basically, I'm just saying, like, rather than having to remember that prompt or copy and paste it from some prompt doc, I've just programmed my gem. So now, watch this. Now I come over here. Let's use it. So I just did a session between 10 and 11 today, and the AI, the meet, generated notes and a transcript. So if I wanted to send a takeaway to all of my participants my last AM session, all I have to do is just add, watch this, add those notes to my gem without prompting any further because the prompt is already written. I push enter, and just like magic, AI is going to look at the notes over the course of a 60-minute session. It's going to find the kind of nuggets and interesting stuff that were discussed over the course of the session. And it will create a nice doc that I can send to all of my participants. I'm telling you this because, well, that's one way to unlock AI in your classroom. How cool would that be, actually? Right, you're at NVLA, right? Maybe, gosh, you're doing a meet live in your class. You're recording it. you create some sort of a transcript, right? You put that transcript into a Meet like this, and now all of a sudden you have a record of what went down. So this is my one-pager takeaway for using Ignite AI and Gemini in your Canvas course, my session from 10 a.m. today. And it kind of goes through the stuff that we talked about. I remember saying the word onus 2 times, shift the onus of the learning. And it, sure enough, it made it into my substantive area, the core philosophies of AI enhanced teaching. Anyway, it's a pretty cool application here, I think. So imagine a gem that you created where you can put like your slide deck or your Meet notes or whatever the heck you're going, your lesson plan, and you can create something that you can send to students that are absent or just make available on your Canvas course or Google Classroom. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I did it for P, and every single time is different, because every class is slightly different too. And so just why not? Like I can make a new one every single time if I wanted to. And by I make, I mean AI make. All right, yeah, it could be good for PLCs, especially for those folks that didn't join that one day or whatever, right? Any application, it's really cool. There's so many different ways you can make gems. So let's get into today's session here today. I've got a link for us. Actually, let's do this just because we're having a little fun here. I'd rather do this anyway than a whiteboard. We're going to go to canva.com/AI. So, oh gosh, give me a minute. I gave you the wrong link. There's the link. Okay, click on this. You might need to log in with your nv.ccsd.net account. And let's make something right off the bat. So you're in the AI area of Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, it's a really awesome tool. It integrates really well with both Canvas LMS and with Google Classroom. Your sidebar here on the left-hand side might look a little different than mine. I believe you can move these around. So I put kind of Canva AI near the top. If you're looking at my my Meet screen right now, you can move these around. So let's open up canva.com/AI. And what I want you guys to do is describe the topic or the standard, the thing that you're going to be creating resources for. This will be one resource, by the way. For me, I used to be, by the way, I'm Chris Justice. I'm an administrator here, coordinator with the Digital Learning and Instructional Technology Department. And I'm excited to be chatting about AI here because it's the thing here in 2026. So I used to teach AP Environmental Science, and so my topic is going to be 7.5 indoor air pollutants. And I want you guys to do the same thing. So we're just going to type in, be kind of clear. If you want to reference tier 1 instructional materials, the AI might know them. So just be really specific with the publisher or the name of the unit or module that you're working with. Again, just use study skills if you can't think of anything else. Go ahead and prompt a little thing here. So type in that text box your topic, your standard. And then notice that there's some little drop-down areas below that text field. We'll create a student activity. And notice that we can change the grade. Choose that subject, even learning purpose. Do apply. And then let's see what Canva makes for us. It might take a moment. All right, hoping you guys are doing the same thing on your end. You have Canva AI open. You're prompting it to make you something. And for me, it created a bunch of options here. I'm going to choose one of them. You guys do the same thing, see what you get. Takes a good minute to do. All right, oh, mine's ready to go. So there was like a little progress bar as it's creating a new resource. My progress bar looks like it's finished. You might be doing this. You might still be working on it. Notice there's also a little open button at the top of your screen, potentially, once it's ready. Ah, yeah. Hey, one of our jobs here is to vet the material. Is it appropriate for our students? To me, it looks like it made something that would be really good for collaboration. So how about we do this? Let's try this out. I'm going to put this link into, so look what I did. If you're looking at my Meet link, I'll click on share. And then right now, only I can access. So kind of like a Google Doc, you can change the rights to it. I'll make it anyone with the link can edit it. And then how about we get all of you on this? Let's just see if it's a big old mess or if this is good. Like imagine we're actually doing this with students. So I think the idea is you're supposed to grab one of those little sticky notes and then pull it into it. If you want to, I don't know if you can see on your end, if you've logged in properly, you should have some more sticky notes. Do you see that little yellow on the left-hand side of your screen? Do you see that little yellow square? Click on that, and that will allow you to add a new sticky note. It looks like we kind of ran out of the 6 that were available to us. Uh-oh. You see what happened? It's gone. There we go. What I'm going to do too, so this is like one of those things that we have to deal with here with these digital artifacts. As the teacher, I'm going to lock these. So I can actually select on it, and now it's less likely that you'll know how to figure out how to move that stuff around, if that makes sense. Kind of wild stuff, right? Yeah, Claire, oh, that's okay. I mean, that's part of the process. That's going to happen with our students. In fact, the teenagers that I know are going to be even worse about doing that. Like they're going to ruin it for you. And so locking down those artifacts, select them, and you can see that there's like a little padlock symbol, lock them, and now all of a sudden people can't move them around unless they unlock them. Don't do that. Don't tell the kids that part. All right. You can also, if you're looking at my screen, I can go back up to that share and I can just say, okay, I'm going to change it from can edit to can view. And now all of a sudden, no one can do anything except for just look, right? So let me show you this. So everyone go back to the Meet screen. I want you to look at my visual here. And what I'll do, and let's see if this works, who knows. I'm going to select all of your responses. Notice I've got, oh God, where is it? Oh, yeah. Give me a minute. Yeah, what's it gonna do? Okay. Let's, yeah, I think it's because I have, okay, give me a minute. Yeah, this is going really well, isn't it? I love that. Let's just get that. Okay. I think it's because I'm selecting extra stuff that doesn't have text in it. Maybe. Okay. Let's bring it over here. Ah, you know what? I'm just messing it up. Okay, that's where it is. All right, I apologize. I was like, there's a magic pencil, and the magic pencil is Canva's indication of AI. So look at my Meet screen. I always kind of forget. I apologize. So I'm going to click on this ellipsis here, those 3 dots, and there's that magic right. Let's open that up. And I can create a summary of all of your guys' responses, which is kind of cool, right? So I know that we didn't really type anything in there, but imagine that I gave you about 10 minutes and you guys actually contributed to this. I've selected all of your stuff, and then the AI will now create a really nice, quick little summary of all of your responses, more or less. Pretty cool. How did I get there again? Let's zoom out. I will select all of your responses. I'll click on that ellipsis there, boom, and then it's that magic right options, and then create summary. Pretty cool. Or is it? I think it's cool. All right, thoughts on that? Canva. We love it. We hate it. Did it create anything for you? That was just my assignment that it randomly, I didn't even really look at it. Anyone want to be bold, turn their microphone on? What was it? What did Canva make for you?
I'm just thinking about all the activities I can create for my third graders, like sorting and something like that, that would get them engaged, but I can actually gain understanding of where they are, or even like a nice exit ticket. Pretty
Yeah,
simple.
very cool. Yeah, there was options. I mean, I only just randomly chose one of them. I put in a different topic. I do this session again on Thursday. It's going to give me something completely different every single time. It's insane. I don't know how it does it. It's magic. Pretty cool stuff. Anybody?
I asked for a kindergarten welcome video for parents with activities for children, and it came up with 6 different activities and slides. And I need to go back in and edit and add more stuff before it's, perfect to use in the classroom. But great ideas, great start point from 10 minutes of just
Hanging
Googling
out.
around.
Yeah. Karen, you
Cool.
bring up a good point about like I have never seen anything made by AI where it's like, all right, it's good to go, it's ready for prime time. There's this 90-10 rule where like 90% of the productivity tasks that we ask AI to do, like making assignments or assessments, it'll do it really great, but it's that last 10%, that human element of us taking over and making it appropriate for our communities, for our students, for our own purposes, our style. All of that's the stuff that makes it magic. That's the stuff that finalizes it too. That's the vetting part that is really important, right? Instead of just saying, okay, it's good to go, you've got to look at it, vet it for accuracy also. So that 10% is super important because we bring that human back into the fold here. I was thinking, like, how do you use AI with students? And I think I would have my students use AI the way that I've been using it, kind of that way, as a productivity tool. I'm going to have it get me some content, then I'll do something on my own with that content or something, right? And that's going to be really locking into those durable skills that are discussed in the Clark County School District's Destination District Strategic Plan, the 5-year plan that our superintendent made available to all of us, which is a really great plan, by the way, right? Because it's all about teaching that collaboration, that creativity, making stuff, the communication and literacy that's not just reading and writing, but it's the oral literacy and the digital literacy, the ethical use of AI. All of those skills are marketable skills that students can take to the bank when they graduate, right? And so us fostering those skills is going to be really important. And what we just did with this Canva, that's collaboration, right? If I was a little bit more thoughtful with what exactly it is I'm asking you to do, you guys going in there and cooperating with one another is increasing those durable skills that are referenced all throughout that strategic plan. We'll actually take a look at and ask AI some questions about the strategic plan towards the end of today's session. Gosh, I'm already 20. How are we doing this? 20 minutes in. So let's do so we did the little Canva. You got a little sneak peek. You saw what that magic right could do here. Let's use Gemini now. So we're going to switch over from Canva AI into Google's product. This is Gemini. The first time you use this, you might need to authorize the app. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to copy paste it. I want you to click on that link in the chat, and I'll open up a new tab, I'm hoping. Take a look. Mary Ann says, moving to a high school library this year, so I asked to make posters. Very cool. Nicole says, library reading checklist of genres to use as checkout challenge. That's very cool. Nice little activity. Becky says mine developed a fifth grade leadership exercise, which will be great for week one. I love that. Oh yeah, those icebreakers that are sometimes really hard to think of. AI can come up with 10 in seconds. All right, let's do this, folks. Got banners. Yeah, it's really good at designing. I love Canva AI for that. And you don't always have to use the AI part of Canva. I mean, you can, there's already templates made that are, I think, better than anything that AI can ever make. All right, so let's do this, folks. Look at my neat screen, if you could. And I'm going to take a look, right? First of all, let's look at Gemini. If I wanted to make the sidebar on the left of my screen a little larger, I can click on that little colorful diamond and open up the sidebar so that I can see my recent chats. I can search my chats, find all the images and videos that I've made, and then also gems. If you don't see gems here, folks, watch where I am. I'm going to go, I'll go down to the gear, the settings, lower left, and that's how I can pull gems up as well. All right, so gems are really cool. If you want just a quick little gem, again, this is actually not in the agenda, but I want you to choose Storybook as a really neat little gem. All the teachers, especially the librarians out there, love this. I'm sure you've seen it before because it's one of the coolest gems. But I think they're even better when you start to make your own prompts and your own instructions, like my one-pager takeaway gem. Anyway, let's get back to that. Let's go. I want to do a new chat because we're actually going to make a slide deck here. This is a new function here the last month and a half of Gemini. If you haven't seen it, let's click on the plus sign, and I want to choose the tool. It's called Canvas. Now, not to be confused with Canvas LMS. This is Gemini Canvas. If you don't see it when you click on that plus sign, you might need to click on More Tools. Choose Canvas. Canvas will help us make that app in a little bit. Canvas help us make docs. In fact, when I showed you that, what was it called? My one pager, I set up my gem so that Canvas was activated. That's what allows me to create this easy doc right here, right? But it also makes slide decks too. And so that's the really neat thing about it. Slide decks that we can edit and take over. That 90% of the work is going to be done by Gemini today. That 10% can be done by us actually editing the slides in regular old slide deck form, right? That we've probably been familiar with. So let's have a prompt. We're going to try to be specific here. We're going to say, make a slide deck on, and then type in your topic or standard that you worked with earlier. Reference your tier 1 instructional materials. Don't upload those because that violates copyright laws. But AI might know about, Amplify. It'll know about OpenSciEd, some of the other, like even HMH, it seems to know some of that stuff too. So I just said, make a slide deck on topic or standard, and then fill in the blank. Make sure that you've selected Canvas. Otherwise, I don't know if it'll work 100%. And then we'll click on that arrow to submit our request. Once it's loaded for you, notice that you can export your slide deck to slides. It might be a good idea just to go through them real quick, but knowing that you can edit these on your own. So if the slide deck or AI got you mostly there, click export, and then we can check it out in slides. That's what I'm going to do with mine. Looks like the link is in the lower left once your AI has generated the slide deck. Look for open slide deck, and it pulls it up into regular old slides. Pretty cool. Vet that material, read it. You know, as an old science teacher, I don't know if I'm going to trust these graphs. I might go and find actual graphs to supplement the, I mean, it's just an image here, right? I'd probably get rid of the image here and then find my own version of, well, whatever this topic is here, right? I would suggest the same. It looks like sometimes it'll actually pull images from online, and I believe the last slide here is where those image sources are coming from. So if you have like a graph in yours, like I did, I'm probably not going to trust the graph. I'm going to go out and find my own version of it or supplement it for sure. Pretty cool. You know, for me, I like to do some good old-fashioned Kagan structures. There's nothing more collaborative than that. I love Kagan because kids, all they want to do is talk to each other. So if you structure an opportunity for them to do that, and by the way, you're going to be talking about the content. They love this stuff. I'm going to go back to AI, and I'm just going to say, maybe I'll check off. So notice what I'm going to do. I don't need it to make another slide deck, so I'll get rid of my tool, Canvas. And now I'm just going to have a conversation. I'm going to say, I need 3 hand up, stand up, pair up questions based on this content. Make them increasingly more difficult. There we go. I'll put, oops, put that into the chat. You wanted to do the same thing. It always gives me too much. I'm just going to say, I don't want the commentary, just the text. See if it gets that. Read between the lines, AI. Stop talking to me. Just give me the answer. It's like when you ask Siri to turn on a 5-minute timer. Like, don't tell me you're about to do it. Just do it. All right. Hey, and it did it good. All right. Yeah, cool stuff, right? I mean, let's add another slide here. Cool if it yeah, it doesn't keep the same theme, unfortunately, but I guess it can't be perfect, huh? All right. Boom. Now I've got some questions. Cool stuff, right? Use a little old school AI here, or I should say new school AI, and then old school putting our finishing touches on it, right? Now we've got some stand up, hand up, pair up questions ready to go. Thoughts about this? Yeah, Mickey, you can probably have like kept it on. Let's see what would happen. So maybe I'll come back over here and I'll put Canvas back on and I'll say remake the slide deck, but add 3 questions at the end. Let's see if it gets that. When I turn that canvas back on, it'll pull up that fancy gizmo where it starts to make the slide deck on the right-hand side. I'm curious if it will make me a brand new one, or if it will be the old one with an extra slide. I don't know. Anyway, cool stuff, right? Let's let that hang out and cook for a minute. We'll come back over here to our, any thoughts about that? What do you guys think? Did it make your slide deck interesting, not interesting? Yeah, thumbs up, sure. Ashley says, I put that, they're focusing on a standard for module 1, and I've made slides that go over the standard with reference to the story. Isn't that wild? So Ashley's using those tier 1 instruction materials without violating any copyright law. She's figured out that, okay, the AI knows some of those stories. We found that if you were in my using Ignite AI, we've done this before where like the Ignite AI in Canvas knows those tier one instructional materials too, including the stories. Sounds like it worked for Envisions. Yeah. So what a great way to supplement those tier one and make them your own, right? That's what I'd be doing. If I'm being told I got to use these tier one instruction materials, well, can I put my twist on it, right? And it sounds like AI might be able to help with some of those twists. Okay, hey, we're trucking through this. It's good. We got 30 minutes left. We'll take about 15 minutes to work on the interactive app. And then, gosh, you really could do 60 minutes just on NotebookLM, but you'll get the point real fast. So let's go back to Gemini. Oh, gosh, it's still working. Yeah, let's check this out. We were cooking the slide deck. It looks like it's the same slide deck. It's added a bunch of extra slides. It used to be 13, now there's 17, and it actually looks great. Was this the same questions? Not really, though. The ones that it made earlier, but it just gave me 3 new slides. That looks great. Fabulous. Gorgeous. Incredible. Can't believe it. I really can't. It always blows me away. All right, let's do this. Okay, so let's, within the same prompt area, I'm going to have Canvas continue to be selected. Let's come up with a new one. So now we're going to reference an interactive app. We're going to say create an interactive app. And I want you to put in these keywords in HTML. I've noticed that sometimes it'll give us a file. It'll create a file. And if the computer doesn't know the file type, it's going to be really hard to share with our students. And the one file type that it's really good at making is an HTML file. If you don't know what that is, it's a hypertext markup language. It's the language of the internet, of all of these websites and everything. So it's a file type that you can share with your students for real. All right, so create an interactive app in HTML that covers the content above. And I'll put this into the chat too, if you wanted to copy and paste that. And let's see if it worked. If you want to create a new chat, you can do that. Just make sure that you've selected Canvas as your tool and then reference those topics. Because every time we create a new chat, sometimes with ChatGPT, it can reference previous conversations. That feature is turned off here in Gemini because this is a school account here, right? You don't want the school account to remember everything that you've talked about. So it's a new, fresh interaction every single time you click new chat to reference those topics or standards again. Looks like it worked for Beth real fast. Yeah, Mary, all right, yeah. And if it doesn't work, do it again, right? Be a little bit more specific. I like the 3 C's with AI prompting: context, clarity, and critique. Give the AI context, be really clear in your demand. Once it gives you that output, critique it. Repeat as necessary. Hopefully that made that into the transcript. That was pretty good. So I can put it into the, yeah, all right. The 3 C, I made that one up, by the way. Not just now, but like, always wanted to have like one of those acronyms, you know, like, I remember the 3 C's: context, clarity, critique. But it actually works really well. All right. My boss doesn't like that though. There's like 20 different prompt strat. Like, this is the easiest one. All right, never mind. Let's do this, folks. So what do you do? First of all, in my opinion, we're going to have AI turned on for students next school year. I think the real value comes in the students making these things. do a little gallery walk, right? Everybody's got a Chromebook, play one of the games, write in the journal, right? We should always have the students writing too. So I would probably have like a composite notebook, some diary. I want you guys to go around, visit 3 different stations, 3 different computers. I want you to poke holes into the interactive app or whatever it is that was created, right? Kind of a wild way to do this, right? So now the kids are interacting, they're out of their chairs. So like, yeah, as teachers and instructors and educators, we can make this and give it to the kids. But again, let's put them in the driving seat of their own education. They can make it, especially if they're at a school that has AI turned on for them. So here's what you do with it though. Like if this is one thing that I really wanted to have my students use, it's going to be part of my Canvas module over Unit 7. I need to get this file out to the students. How do you do that? If I don't do this, my interactive lab will only exist within my Gemini account and I can never do anything with it. I've got to make sure that it was in that HTML file format. Take a look what I'm going to do. I'll click on that, download, look at my meet screen as the visual. I'm finding that download button. I'll click download, and then yeah, it looks like sure enough. I know it's hard to see this, but it gives me the name of the file, and then it says .html. If it doesn't say .html, you might have a hard time with this. You'll have to go back and prompt it again. But this HTML file, I can add to my drive, and then share that link out. So let's try this out. So I'm going to come over here to my drive. I'll click new, or I can just drag it in, but I'll click file upload. And then I'll choose that my downloads. There's that HTML file. I click open, let it upload. And then just like we shared that Canva doc earlier, just like we shared Google Docs before, let's click on share. We'll need to change the access here so that anyone with the link. And then here's what we're going to do. I'll put this link into the chat. Now don't get mad when there's an extra little step we got to do. Watch what I'm going to do, folks. I want you to, so like right now, it probably looks like this. You see doc type HTML, lang, n, head, meta, care set, right? Like, don't worry about it. I want you to click on that from your end, click on that download button. So there's a little arrow pointing down in the upper left-hand corner. Download this file onto your computer and then open that file. And you should be able to see my interactive app that I just made. Muriel, it works for you good on your end. You've got to the students have to download this onto their Chromebook or their computer, and then they open it on their end. All right, you can do this in Canvas. So, right, you can add, think about it, you can add any file to Canvas page or any Canvas class, I should say. It doesn't have to be a page. Upload the file that way. The student downloads the file onto their computer, and then they can open it from there. But they have to open it up from their downloads area. Pretty cool stuff, right? So that was an easy way to get that link out to you folks. I got a little time here, so I'll come over here to my Canvas and see what that looks like there. Just going to pull up my Canvas here, folks. Get into any old class. Like, it would be cool. So you can't have, I was going to say, you can embed the HTML code into a Google site. You can't do it the way that you feel like you want to in Canvas. If I'm talking to people who know how to embed code, you can't do it that way in Canvas, but you can embed the code into a Google site. It's kind of cool. So let's check this out. Let's do this. I'll open up my Canvas course. I'll click the plus from a module. I'll choose file, because that's what it is. And I'll upload that HTML file there. And now it's on my Canvas class. So there's that. So what do the students do? You can rename this if you wanted to, by the way, but let's open it. And your kids are all going to be like, it's not working. It looks terrible. Well, because you have to download it. So the student, just like we did earlier from Drive, now students are downloading the file from their Canvas course. And just like last time, they can now open it up on theirs. So you can, any system, you can get a link out to students that the students can open. That's how we can, I should say, get a file, not a link, a file out to students. That's a way that you can do it. You can email it to them too, I suppose. All right, any questions about that, folks? All right, yeah, Ashley, it seems to work. It worked for all of us here, I'm thinking. Did it not work for some people? Remember, you have to download it onto your computer. Anybody on a Chromebook? And it worked, yeah? It worked, good. All right. Okay, so let's do this, folks. We have 20 minutes. We're sitting pretty good. Got one last thing on our agenda here, which is NotebookLM. I'm going to give you some time to play around with this. Let's talk about what it is, though, first. Let's go ahead and, so a good way to get a NotebookLM out to people, for some reason, I can't just give you the link like I did earlier to that file. You have to exist within a group. I could share a NotebookLM with all of you, but there's 52 people on the call right now, and that would take a good 20 minutes, right, just to do that. Think about it with 140 students that are entering, enrolling, and leaving your class. Like, you don't want to do that. So a good way to like maintain a group is to use Google Classroom. This will be turned on for student use next school year at the vast majority of the Clark County School District schools. So this is the way I'm going to get all of you guys into my student-facing NotebookLM. Now, you don't have to do this. Next year, like what we're doing, I'm sharing a class code with you. You actually don't have to do this because if you do use Google Classroom, it actually is linked with Infinite Campus. And so you won't have to have kids use codes like I'm doing right now. The rostering will automatically happen. It's going to be really great for you. But for our purposes here, since I don't have Infinite Campus and you're not students in my Infinite Campus, I've got to manually enroll you. So go ahead and click on that link in the chat. And once you get in there, look at the tab at the top. Click on Classwork. And then open up that NotebookLM on the destination district. You're seeing this from the student's perspective. Anyone having trouble? I know I'm giving you a lot right now. Okay, let me know. We got time. We got breathing room here. So what is NotebookLM? It's a really awesome tool. I think, again, the real power comes from students making their own, right? Again, putting them into the driver's seat of their own learning. They get to make their own NotebookLM. How fabulous is that, right? But we might need to help them out, hold their hands a little bit, and help them through the process of making their own. And so we might want to share a NotebookLM with you, with them, just as much as I'm doing that with you guys. All right, yeah, the code, you actually don't need the code if you just click on that link that I put into the chat. It'll automatically do it because the code is a part of that link. So if you're looking at my Meet screen, you don't, as the student's perspective, you might not have these. You don't have the share rights here, but in the upper left-hand corner is where I can add new sources. And that is what NotebookLM is really amazing, is that I can add any source I want, right? PDFs, I can add slide decks. Remember that slide deck that we made earlier with AI? I could add that as my own source if I wanted to. And what happens then is, so that's on the left side, in the center is the chat, and at the center bottom is that text field. As I interact and chat with the AI, its answers will only come from those sources that I uploaded. And that's what's really awesome. Like, if you want to have a little control as to what the students are doing with AI and the sources that they're using, you can add your own sources. And rest assured, as the student interacts with the AI, those answers are coming and being informed only from those sources. So it's a source-grounded AI system. It's really great. The idea is that it will be less likely for the AI to hallucinate, since the answers are only coming from the one or two or up to 50 sources, I think. And I'll say that too, like, I think the value here is actually not adding a million sources. When I first got into NotebookLM, I added like 50 things. And I think I actually just had one. I was thinking like the US Constitution would be a really great notebook LM. You just add the Constitution, and then you can interact and ask questions of the Constitution just like that, right? So the more sources we put in, the cloudier I think the studio gets. So on the right-hand side, so sources on the left, chat in the center, and the studio from the teacher's perspective or the creator's perspective. This is where you can start to make audio overviews. This is a podcast that's 20 minutes or so. Two AI bots talk about your content. You can make slide decks, and they're actually really cool, look different than the ones that were made in that other system. You can make 6-minute videos. I love this flashcards for academic content, quizzes, all that good stuff. So what I'd like you guys to do is two things. So I added the destination district, the strategic plan to our Notebook LM. And what I'd like you to do is ask one question. You could ask, what are durable skills? Or how do I teach durable skills in a third grade classroom? Let's take 1 minute. The second thing I want you to do is to play around with and watch or interact with one of the items in the studio on the right-hand side, okay? So I'll start talking. I want you guys to ask one question and then take a look at some of those items in the studio on the right. All right. I love this. I asked a question, how do I teach durable skills in an environmental science class? And the first thing was like shift to project-based learning. Ooh, I've got a session on PBL and Gen AI, I think tomorrow. Must check it out. It's a kind of, that one's my favorite one out of the four that I've been doing this summer. But project-based learning is a really great way to to engage the students so that we're not just lecturing the whole time, right? Not saying that that's all we do, but like again, it puts them in the driver's seat of their own learning. And what's really cool is like, you know, PBL is impossible to, I think. Really, I shouldn't say impossible. It's very difficult to do. And AI can really help you out with coming up with some of those ideas and how to actually approach those driving questions. And that's the first thing. Project-based learning is mentioned in that strategic plan. So I know that that answer comes from that strategic plan. Pretty cool. Yeah, Karen, please. And if not next week, this week, next week for sure. I think there's 2 more times. All right, and then what do you guys think of the studio? Thoughts on that? Did you watch anything? Ashley says the podcast is crazy. Did you click on the little hand, the interactive hand? Check this out. If I click on that hand, I'll click the play button and give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Welcome to today's deep dive. You know, for the better part of a century, the K through 12 education system has,
So
well, it's
I'll push pause. Did you notice there was a join button? So let's click join.
kind of run on this very predictable, oh, hey, our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Hey, I was curious. I'm an AP environmental science teacher. How can I teach durable skills to my students? What's the number one thing that I can do? Cross my.
Oh, we love having a teacher chime in. That is a fantastic question.
Especially for AP environmental science, you are right in the thick of it.
If you are looking for the number one thing you can do,
Based on this new plan, it is all about authentic demonstrations of learning.
exactly, instead of just a lab report, have them solve a local problem.
Right, something that forces them to use critical thinking and adaptability.
Pretty cool. And there's a reference to critical thinking. It's not just reading the stuff that it was doing before. This time it was kind of mentioning authentic learning, which you could argue PBL is, right? Pretty wild stuff, right? I think that's the coolest thing. Again, really awesome way to engage the multimodal learner, right? There's this push to increase accessibility to the curriculum, and it costs nothing for us to create an audio overview for your content. You might not need to listen to it, but maybe the kid that really learns from listening does. Same thing with the video overviews and stuff. It costs nothing. I know for a fact that my students, if I had, okay, so let me show you this. Here's my content one. I added 40 sources. I had 9 units of digital content. And so I know my students would be using these flashcards right before my any one of my classes, right? So take a look. If you have a lot of sources, take a look. Let's get rid of that. So now I have 40 sources on my left-hand side, not just one strategic plan. And so if I clicked on audio overview, notice that I click on that little chevron arrow. I have a little control as to what it will be. I can make it shorter so it's not 20 minutes. I can make it a critique. I can have the AI hosts focus on it. But because I've selected all of my sources, it's still going to have a lot of data to a lot of leeway to come up with 20 minutes. And so what I would do then, watch what I'm going to do. I will deselect all of these and just choose one of those sources. So unit 4, for example. Now when I come over here and I create my flashcards, those flashcards will only be on that one slide deck instead of all of the stuff. Kind of cool. By the way, if I click flashcards a second time, it'll come up with a second set of slightly unique versions of those flashcards. I love the quiz feature. It takes about a minute or so to do this. The quiz feature will also create some multiple choice style questions that the students can interact with. So look at the top. Let's take about 3 minutes. I want you guys to click Create Notebook at the top. And then either search the web for a new source or notice that you can upload files. Click on that Drive file. Add that slide deck that we had AI make earlier. Maybe supplement it with some stuff online. And let's take about 3 minutes where we are creating our own NotebookLM, okay? And from the teacher's perspective and the creator's perspective, note that you now have access to all of those amazing studio tools. Let me know if you need support. Kimberly, if you want, it's the same link as what we're using for this one, and then we'll just add you after the fact, okay? And then whatever time I don't know what time it's at. I do a Google Classroom tomorrow at 10, same link, and then PBL is at 1 p.m., and then we'll just add you manually after. Is it full? Oh, it's always good to know, Diane. I'm so happy that you guys have been showing up for these. wait list. Really, just show. I mean, it doesn't matter. You do 500 people on one of these. It's arbitrary. So yeah, just show up and we'll put you in, okay? If you want to do it. $81 people. What it's capped at. Yeah, you can do like 500 people on one of these apps, so I don't care. I mean, show up, and then, like I said, we'll put you in after the fact because I'm emailed attendance. So thoughts out there, folks? Yeah, same link as the one that we're currently on. Any thoughts? You guys are still probably exploring it. This is going to be something that you can do in the next hour after this session. It's amazing. It really is cool. Watch those videos. I put in some AI documents in the very beginning, like a year ago, into my one of my first NotebookLMs, and then there's an app for this. So I like listened to the PDFs instead of having to read them. I listened to them on my way home, and I was kind of like onboarded and understood the gist of those sources by listening to that podcast. It's kind of neat. I highly suggest you just give that a try. Like I said, there's a NotebookLM app, and you can just plug that into your phone and listen to it on the way to work. All right, Julie says, can you clarify which AI tools to choose for which purposes? Gosh, I was mentioning this before. I think it could be an app smashing opportunity here, right? I mean, you could make a slide deck in Canva, but you can make a slide deck here in NotebookLM that's going to be slightly different than the one that you can make in Gemini, right? Canva also has the ability to make those interactive apps the same as Canvas Gemini, right? The Canvas tool in Gemini can. It might be nice to have a little slide or something like that. So how about this? In that implementation guide, that one pager that I'll send all of you after today's session, I'll make sure that I have something in there that references the different tools and stuff that we talked about. And hopefully the transcript's listening, so I don't have to remember formatting it. So I'll say an action item would be to create a table of all of the different AI tools and how they can be used. Would be really helpful in that one pager. All right, we'll see if that worked. All right, and it takes a little bit of time, by the way. It takes about 2.5 hours or something before I get that email. So that implementation guide one pager I might do tomorrow morning when I first come in, okay? Because it just might not be done by the time I leave for work at 3:30 p.m. today. All right, folks, any questions, thoughts about this? What do you think? Anything interesting that was created? I choose one and try it for the year. I'm on fire. Yeah, I say, I'm telling you, get your students to make these things. That's the real fun, right? Have them do it if you're at a school that supports this sort of thing. Appreciate you guys. Take a look here. I've got a quick little plug for a digital learning lab. So this is one of the things that we started last year. This is a 30 to 45 minute, it can either be face-to-face or virtual PL session that can be delivered during your department's PLC. Reach out to me if you're interested in doing it. We can come up with any topic that you want. If you wanted to do Google Classroom within your department at an elementary school, or Ignite AI, or some combination of GEMS and Canva, like anything, right? I mean, we can do literally customized to your specific needs. I'd love to do it. I'd like to do these virtually. So what would happen is that, like, third period, everybody gets to go to their room, turn out the lights, put the camera on, right? We're all doing our thing. We all have our own computers, our own tabs. And so I think that would be kind of a fun PLC. All right, folks, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So let me know if you're interested in doing that. If you're not the person that makes those sorts of decisions, or you'd like to have it for the school-wide instead of just for classes and departments, let me know. Let your principal know, let your department head know, and we can come up with something. I do have that survey link, folks. I always love to get some feedback for today. And so there is a link there. You can finish this survey offline, folks. We're at our 1 minute mark. Today, this is called Unlocking AI in Your Instruction. This is July 7th, 2026. And my name is Chris Justice. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thanks again. We're at 2 p.m. Be well, everybody. Get into that pool. Enjoy this gorgeous Las Vegas summer weather, and I'll see you guys soon. See you, Elizabeth. Be well, everybody.